Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I'm Mike Egobadia. Here are our top stories. ASU approves 20 varsities for strike. The celebration of Oluwafori 5th coronation. Governor Adeleke's wife lead protest over alleged violence. And federal government targets doubling livestock sector's $32 billion contribution. And our reference in Colombia, quick death toll hits 111 as president declares emergency. And on sports, stakeholders divided ahead of Nigerian Football Federation elections. Now to the news in full. Academic activities have been disrupted at Nasarawa State University, Kefi, and Imo State University, Owerri, following indefinite strike by their chapters of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Now, the development comes as ASU National Executive Council authorized 20 university branches to begin processes for industrial action over the alleged slow implementation of the 2025 agreement between the federal government and the union. Now, the affected branches are directed to issue a 14-day ultimatum before commencing strike if their demands are not met. Nasarawa State University, the union is demanding payment of astounding entitlement estimated at more than 3 billion naira, including academic allowances and salary adjustments. At Imo State University, ASU is protesting the non-implementation of the 2025 agreement on paid promotion arrears and other outstanding salaries. ASU President Professor Chris P. Wuna said the union would review the situation at an emergency meeting expected at the end of August or early September. The union also maintained its no pay, no work position, directing branches to take action where salary and other outstanding issues remain unsolved. The palace of the Oluwafori Ogiame Atuashe III has unveiled a 10-day program to mark his 5th coronation anniversary. Now, the celebration themed Global Homecoming, celebrating our cultural renaissance, unity, and transformational progress, begins on August 14th. Now, speaking at the press conference, Chief Brown Mene said activities will include a praise day, Warri Unity Games, cultural competition, homage paying, a regatta, football matches, and a Thanksgiving service. Events will take place across Warri and neighboring communities. Mene said the Olu's administration was focused on empowering young people through the Owerri Innovation Hub, which will promote digital literacy, software engineering, and entrepreneurship. He said the initiative represents a shift from dependence on crude oil towards a thriving digital economy.
The third, Commander of the Federal Republic, the Olu of dancing. The anniversary will officially commence on the 14th of August and will go on to conclude on the 23rd of August 2026. It will interest you to note that this is a 10-day royal ceremony consisting of community engagements, traditional dancing, and sporting events. There will be massive cultural displays showcasing family heirlooms, exhibitions, and homage paying to His Majesty.
The palace also announced a strategic partnership with the federal government through the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy to promote tourism, investment, and youth empowerment through the anniversary. The Delta State government has indefinitely suspended the Commissioner of Works, Highway, and Urban Roads, Reuben Izizi, over allegations linking him to the household of Governor's Senior Special Assistant on Protocol, Simon Moody, popularly known as Temple. Now, the suspension, which takes immediate effect, was announced in a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Kisley Emu. The government said the decision would allow security agencies to conduct an impartial investigation into the alleged incident at the Petroleum Training Institute, EFUN. The state government stressed that public safety and the maintenance of law and order remain priorities of this administration. It added that no individual or institution is above the law, including officials of government. Izeze, who represents Ughelli South State constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly, was appointed Commissioner for Works by Governor Sheriff Oboriwori. The government did not disclose how long the investigation would last or whether the commissioner would be reinstated after its conclusion. Talking politics, the wife of the Osun State Governor, Titilola Adeleke, has led a protest by women in the state over alleged indiscriminate arrest and violence ahead of the Saturday's governorship election. Now, the protesters comprising traders, artisans, and women from different groups marched through Oshogbo, carrying placards calling for a peaceful and credible election. They were stopped from accessing the main entrance of the Osun State Police Command, where they presented their demands to the Commissioner of Police in charge of election matters, Samuel Etiafo. Adeleke urged the police to investigate or invite some all-progressive Congress chieftains for questioning over alleged violence in the state. She called for peace and a free and fair election, while assuring security operatives of unlawfully arresting and maltreating some government officials and supporters. Responding, Etiafo assured the women that the police would consider their concerns and continue efforts to maintain peace. He warned that anyone found attempting to disrupt Saturday's election would be arrested, stressing that the police would provide a secure environment for all political actors and voters. Still talking politics, the Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, ANSEC, has reaffirmed its commitment to conducting the state local government election on August the 29th, despite a legal challenge by 56 serving councillors. The commission chairman, Genevieve Osakwe, said preparations for the elections were ongoing, stressing that the commission has received no court directive to suspend the process. She urged political parties and candidates to continue preparing for the polls. The councillors are challenging the state's two-year tenure provision for electoral local government officials, arguing that it conflicts with the 1999 Constitution as amended. They insist they are entitled to serve for 4 years and have asked the court to stop the planned elections until their tenure, dispute is resolved. However, Osakwe said that mere filing of lawsuit does not automatically halt an electoral process. She assured stakeholders that election will be conducted in line with the Electoral Act 2022 and relevant state laws, maintaining that the August 29 timetable remains unchanged unless the court orders otherwise. Away from that and talking business, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says Nigeria is targeting more than doubling the livestock sector's estimated $32 billion annual contribution to the economy. He spoke in Abuja at the 9th All-African Conference on Animal Agriculture, represented by the SGF George Akume. Tinubu said the government was transforming livestock production into a modern and commercially competitive industry. He noted that Nigeria has millions of cattle, sheep, goats, and poultry. The president said the National Livestock Growth Acceleration Strategy will boost productivity, animal health, genetics, and feed production. He ordered that the government was promoting ranching and investment across the livestock value chain. Tinubu also said the government aims to double local milk production and reduce dairy imports. He called for stronger African cooperation to build a sustainable and globally competitive livestock industry. The federal government says the remaining sections of the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Highway will be completed by November, with the project now estimated at around 752 billion naira. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, disclosed these on Monday in Abuja. He said more than 80% of the cost of the two ongoing sections have been paid. He ordered that the government is installing solar-powered streetlights and plans to deploy special highways guard to protect the road from vandalism. Umahi said the 750-kilometer dual carriageway had been significant progress, with 118 kilometers completed with concrete pavement within 30 months. He said work is ongoing on the remaining 164 kilometers and expressed confidence that the entire stretch will be completed by November. The minister said the government was also executing major road projects across the country, including the Sokoto's Zamfara-Zaria and the Enugu-Port Harcourt corridor. He stressed that the infrastructural projects are creating jobs and opening up economic opportunities for ordinary Nigerians. With that, we need to go on a break now, but when we come back, more news as it concerns the foreign scene as well as the ever-exciting world of sport. Join us again.
Atlantic TV.
Three, two, one, action.
And on the foreign scene, Colombia has declared a state of emergency after a powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the western part of the country, killing at least 111 people and injuring 87 others. The quake struck at about 7:34 a.m. local time, with its epicenter in the coastal Choco region. More than 1,000 buildings were damaged, while rescue teams continued searching for people trapped under the rubbles. The worst hit areas include Pereira, Cali, Manizales, and Cubdo. At least 20 buildings reportedly collapsed in Cali, where part of the cathedral tower in Manizales was also destroyed. A survivor said she was able to leave home because she got a notification message from her phone.
Found depth 107 kilometers, or about 66 miles. It unfortunately struck near an area of Colombia that has a lot of mountains, a lot of rivers, and just had an epicenter where damage was more likely, unfortunately. So the areas that are most heavily damaged so far are in Western Colombia. That's the city of Cali, which is Colombia's third largest city, and also the smaller regional capitals of Armenia, Pereira, Manizales. There's also damage reported in Chocó, which is on the Pacific coast. Colombia's new president, Abelardo de la Espriella, was just sworn in on Friday, so it's a pretty incredible challenge for him to be facing his first week in office. So far, the response seems pretty well coordinated. We saw from
President Abelardo de la Espriella said government has employed all available resources to rescue victims and provide assistance to affected communities. The tremor was also felt in neighboring Ecuador, Panama, and Venezuela, while residents in Bogota evacuated buildings as a precaution. So on the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has suggested that Iran pay reparation for what he described as damages caused over several decades, as well as the death of protesters in recent unrest. Trump made the comments amid renewed tension between Washington and Tehran.
For the damage that we've done, I said, that's a good idea. Well, we're going to ask for money for the damage they've done over a 50-year period. Whether you go SS Cole or whether you go all of the people that were so badly hurt, so badly wounded or killed, many thousands of people, and maybe damages for the 52,000 protesters over the last 4 months that were killed in Iran. We think their family should get damages for killing their person or their child or mother, father that were protesting. It's at least, it was 52,000 a month and a half ago. So now what is it? So if there's damages to be paid, I think Iran should pay those damages.
Trump's concerns continue to grow over Iran's response to protests and its broader confrontation with the United States. The U.S. president did not specify the amount of compensation he was seeking or how such payment would be enforced. Nigerian football stakeholders remain divided over calls to suspend the Nigerian Football Federation election scheduled for September 27th in Lafia, Nasarawa State. The debate follows Nigeria's recent setback in continental football. Former international Abiodun Obafemi said the country's failure to qualify for the 2027 Women's and Under-20 World Cup shows the need for urgent reforms in football administration. He said the current system differs from the one that helped Nigeria win the Olympic gold in 1996. Now, former Super Eagles captain Segun Odegbami and sport facility executive Ebi Egbe has also called for the suspension of the election, citing concerns over the electoral structure. Egbe also argued that the dominance of State Football Association chairmen could make it difficult for reform-minded candidates to compete fairly. However, sport administrator Ahmed Shehu Garagumbe rejected calls to hold the election, accusing Odebami of personal interest. Also, Gumbe agreed that electoral reforms were needed, but said they would be handled by the National Assembly. The controversy is expected to intensify ahead of the September 27 NFF elective Congress. And still talking sports, India are leading the medal table at the 2026 Commonwealth Fencing Championship in Lagos, with 5 gold medals from 9 events decided so far. England are second with 2 golds, while Cyprus and host Nigeria have 1 each. Nigerian gold came from 17-year-old Ogenegare Thompson, who won the men's under-23 EPI event to secure the country's first ever gold at the Commonwealth Championship. The competition has also featured the debut of wheelchair fencing as a medal event, marking a major step towards greater inclusivity in the sport. Nigeria is competing with a 12-member team of 6 men and 6 women. Fencers from several countries have praised the organization and hospitality in Lagos. England's women Sabra gold medalist Betty Braley described the atmosphere as inspiring and commended the enthusiasm of Nigerian youth fencers. Well, anyway, on that awesome and nice note, we've come to the end of the news right here on Atlantic TV. I remain Michael Gobadia. God bless you. Have a great day ahead.